we're taking into account the fact that there's wear and tear in the vehicle that's happening. There's going to be essentially a break, like the car's going to break down, and it's a BMW, and it's going to be very expensive to fix. So this is something you have to take into account, because the vehicle is constantly getting miles, and you just don't know what's going to happen. So let's say in a BMW I would have spent $3,000 for fuel, right? Not even including the oil changes. If I would have made additional $5,500, then I really don't know. Would I actually be able to keep that $5,500, or next month or next day I'm gonna need some kind of expensive part or some kind of maintenance to be done? And then there's the cost of time that's being lost. So if your vehicle is in the shop, even if you're doing it yourself, you have to buy parts, you have to spend your time to fix it, and that means now that you're not working, you're losing potential income, and you're also spending your time fixing your vehicle and the parts. Not to mention, there's dealerships that cost a lot, and other mechanics. You're like, the cost now, it's like doesn't really even matter. You're not gonna even be able to get in to any shop right now, or like a dealer. The dealerships right now, they don't have enough mechanics. So even if you will be able to set up an appointment, it's probably going to be like 2 weeks later, and then they're gonna do their diagnostics, and then they're still going to be kind of like a going back and forth saying you need this and you need that, and you're going to need to make a decision what you want to do. But anyways, you kind of get the idea. We don't want to get to the whole things that could have happened, should have happened. But this got me thinking. I'm thinking, okay, so the Tesla's costing me roughly equivalent to the BMW in the cost of operation, but I do not have to worry about the oil changes. The only thing I have to think about is tire rotation, which is and the tires, which is covered under the rental. They'll basically replace that stuff for you. And I already had to do 2 tire rotation because I put already over 20,000 miles on this vehicle. No, I didn't put over 20,000. I put slightly. The vehicle right now, let me look. Vehicle right now has 21,431. But when I got this vehicle, it had 8,660 or something like that. So therefore, you know, I put like over 13,000 miles on it. But at the time when I got it, they said bring it in for 10,000 miles, tire rotation, to Pep Boys, because they are associated with Pep Boys, and Pep Boys is servicing all their fleets for Uber. By the way, guys, I am driving an autopilot, but that truck that was passing me, he was outside his lane, and I did not want him to crash into me. That being said, we need to switch a lane here. So guys, you get the idea. So I had the tire rotation done, and the cost of maintenance basically covered. And let's say this car would have a major breakdown. Again, they would just give me another Tesla, and I would continue using that other Tesla without really losing any time. And the biggest thing I've noticed, guys, with having a Tesla that I'm renting is the peace of mind, guys. Like, that really goes a long way, because driving itself could be stressful for people. I actually love driving. I enjoy it. I feel very confident in driving. And guys, by the way, you might be thinking, like, is this guy even driving? We're in a Tesla. It's autopilot. It's self-driving. So it blinks at me every once in a while. It tells me, hey, you want to make sure that you let us know you're here, and shake the steering wheel a little bit. So this is quite safe, which is awesome for making these videos. So do not even worry about me. I always talk with my hands, because I'm thinking, like, somehow it's necessary for me to move. So that being said, guys, I eliminated the services, which would waste time for me with me doing it myself, and I eliminated the stress of how much those services will be. So I don't have to think about that stuff anymore. But that being said, guys, I did order myself a Tesla. So this particular Tesla here that we're driving, this is a 2022 Tesla, long range dual motor. So really called dual motor long range. So I ordered a dual motor long range performance. So that one costs $65,000, and this one, as it sits in black, costs $60,000. So the black option, and the car is black on black. So the black option costs $1,500 more than a white. The white is a free option, and other colors, they cost like additional, like if you got like red, it will cost you $2,000, and every color has its own price point. But we're not going to get into that because we're not shopping around for the Tesla. I just wanted to let you know some of the costs and stuff that's involved. So this Tesla being $60,000 and mine being $65,000. So right now what is happening is, since I ordered my Tesla a month ago, they're telling me the delivery date is going to be September 14th through October 12th, something along those lines, and the times may change. They already changed the date for me 3 times. So that is still something I'm gonna need to talk to you guys about once I do get it, but the car looks so cool. I do have a plan for that car. I could afford that car, obviously, but the thing is, I do have a plan for it. But this video was supposed to be with me doing a test, and this is some of the numbers that I dealt with. I did make money in a Tesla, and I do feel that, yeah, it's possible to make money, and using a Tesla doesn't necessarily mean you'll make more money. You will probably make more money by renting a 2015, I mean, or newer Nissan Altima, because it's still a nice car. You'll still be able to do comfort rides. We'll get in more on that later. So now I want to tell you guys a little bit about what it takes to drive a Tesla day to day, because we are talking about a Tesla, and I'm sure you're probably thinking about it, like, how long does the charging take? How often do you have to charge it? Where do you charge it? Is there charging stations available? Let's cover all that. So we are in Charlotte. So there's 4 superchargers available. The superchargers all charge you different rates. Now the one I go to charges 20 cents per kilowatt hour, but the ones next to me, there's one that's 40 cents a kilowatt hour, and the other 2 is 34 cents a kilowatt hour and 33 cents a kilowatt hour. So of course I'm gonna go to the 20 cents a kilowatt hour, because I will basically spend 2 times less. And the 40 cents a kilowatt hour, the 20 cents a kilowatt hour, they're fairly close to each other. So those are actually convenient for me to go to, because that is sort of like my area. Now, that being said, how long does it take to charge, and what is the how many miles can you drive in a dual motor long range Tesla? So this being at its long range, it is 360 mile range Tesla, and it takes roughly 20 minutes to get 200 miles. So when I put this thing in the charge, it will tell me 50 minutes left over, sometimes 55 minutes left over, and that is on a 250 kilowatt hour charger versus like 150. It will be a little bit different. So in order for you to go to a charging station, it is recommended that you actually use the Tesla GPS to tell it that you're going to a charging station, because it will prepare the battery for charging, and it means the battery will charge faster. So I always use the functionality and I go there and plug it in. Now, where do you find out the pricing of each charging station, how much it costs? So I will show you guys this a little bit later on, like physically show you, but guys, it is actually very easy, and you could find it on your Tesla GPS system. It will actually pull up all the charging stations, and when you click on each one of those, it will tell you what does it cost to charge those. All right, so next I want to get into the day-to-day. How often am I charging? Well guys, I'm driving anywhere from 500 to 600 miles a day. I'm working right now 18 hours a day. And how am I working 18 hours a day? Am I working for 2 different companies? Actually, I'm only working with Uber, and Uber only allows you to work 12 hours. So where's all those other hours coming from? Well, let me tell you, because this is something I did not expect coming from a standard gasoline car, especially a Nissan Altima. Now, let's do a little comparison. With a Nissan Altima, I would do a 12-hour shift, which ultimately would be 14 to 14 and a half hour shift. Well, how is that? Why is that? So first of all, when I fuel up a tank on a Nissan Altima, it will last me a whole entire shift, because it's very fuel efficient car, 35 miles per gallon. Now the BMW being 24 miles per gallon, sometimes even less, obviously it's not going to last the whole day. Now, I do not live in Charlotte. I live in South Carolina, which takes me 1 hour to commute to Charlotte. So that's where that extra hour comes in. And I need to go back. So another hour goes there. So I have to take that into account. And an extra 30 minutes to an hour that goes for lunch. So your day would be like 14 hours to 15 hours, depending if you take a lunch in a restaurant or in your car. I choose not to eat inside of my car because I don't want my car smelling. I want my car to be clean, and I keep it super clean in here, and we'll get into that a little bit more with the car washes and things of that nature, and what I do to keep my car very clean. So with the Tesla, what's happening with the Tesla? Why is it 18 hours? Well, let me tell you. So here's the way it's been happening. So to charge a Tesla to the full capacity of 360 miles, it will take 1 hour. 55 minutes, sure, 1 hour. Like, it's constantly moving up. If I time it, it's like roughly 1 hour. Now, it is not recommended to charge in 1 hour because the battery is going to be getting ruined. If you charge a battery fully to 360 miles, the electrons don't have no place to go, and they end up damaging the battery. So you do not want to charge it all the way. So I actually recommend to be charging it about maybe like 40 minutes or something. Charge it about 300 miles. But there's a little slider which I will show you for the charging. You could choose to charge it 80%, 90%. But since I'm renting this Tesla, I want to be able to get the full use of the battery, being that it's 360. So sometimes I would just plug it up for like 1 hour, and I want to make sure I could just drive as long as possible because technically I do not have to think about electrons jumping around.